Welcome back, Troglodytes, to your daily dose of guitar information, the Trogly's Guitar Show. I've got a couple of cool guitars that we can check out tonight that all follow the same unique theme. Refinishes that weren't complete refins, but completely changed the look of the guitar. And let's start the show off with this thing, a Gibson from 2019 that's labeled as a Les Paul Custom Blue Burst Silver Sparkle Flake Ace Frehley 2019. Okay, so here's what we've got going on. It is a blue sparkle burst. Yes, Ace did play a guitar like this at one point in time. It's like that Spaceman blue sparkle finish. It's a really cool, iconic guitar. However, this does not exist as far as a limited edition Gibson Custom Shop Collector's Edition run. It would be a cool guitar that likely would sell out. I mean, you've got the original 300 of the Ace Frehleys, and then various other runs that came after that, including kind of a cheeky one as part of Gibson's Guitar of the Week. But anyways, taking a look at this thing, I just thought, okay, somebody did a made-to-measure custom order. I mean, he was asking $20,000 for this thing, and now he's got it down to $15,000. But you can see, besides the finish, they've got the cool clear knobs. You actually have chrome-plated pickups on this. That's actually really cool how the bobbins are like that, not just the pickup rings. The switch tip was swapped out for a chrome one. It's a bit hard to see in this photo, but they also have brass backplates that are chrome-plated. They're just reflecting the light a little bit differently in this one. But this is one of those guitars that would be incredibly shocking in person. And it is pretty sweet. They even went as far as giving it the Ace tuners, you know, these ones that have the pearloid tips on the outside. Vintage originals like that are very costly because of the association with him. And we've got a custom shop serial number, so is this legit? Well, I think I've already ruined it for you guys. This episode is about refinished guitars. But this one is so shocking. So here's what's unique about this guitar. It started life like this. It was just a silver sparkle Les Paul Custom. Yes, Gibson does make these from time to time. You can always do a made-to-measure custom order of one of your own. That's not a problem. When he had first purchased it, it had the uncovered pickups. It was all blacked out, had a pick guard, black speed knobs. It still had the chrome hardware, though. But he is a big Ace fan, so what did he have him do? He took it to a luthier to route it out for a middle pickup. They swapped in the DiMarzio pickups to get it even closer. It looks like here's where we start to see our clear see-through knobs. We've removed the pick guard, got rid of the poker chip. We're getting closer. But then he wanted to take it even further. So he took this to a luthier and had the blue border sprayed after the factory. I love it because, I mean, it's technically still the original Gibson finish underneath that. So does this follow normal refinished guitar rules of being less valuable than the original finish? It's kind of one of those gray areas because, I mean, yeah, it's still the original Gibson finish. There's just something over top of it. It's like if somebody put a sticker on your guitar. I mean, if we're being realistic here, it probably follows the overspray rule. So maybe not as much of a devaluation as a full-on refinish. But in a cut and dry, how things normally go, it would probably fall under that. But this thing has been completely transformed. From this to this to this. I could see a Kiss fan really loving this thing and paying a premium because all the work has been done. Even though normal guitar rules means whenever you modify something after the factory, it goes down in value. The only other thing I wanted to mention about this one is this is not actually one of the Les Paul Customs that comes stock with an ABR1 bridge. This is one that has a Nashville style from the beginning. It's either that or they converted it to one that has a bushing within the body, but it likely started as one of the Nashville style bridges, and that's probably why the ABR1 does not look very well set up. You shouldn't have that much of the screw poking up. That would just rip straight through your hand. You'll get to blood burst before you know it. But man, what a cool guitar. Do I agree with his pricing structure of this guitar? No, not at all. I could see somebody maybe paying $8.5 just because they want this guitar. They don't want to custom order it themselves. But I think that's even kind of being generous. But the job turned out fantastic, blending that original finish with the blue. But my question for the seller is, the original Gibson decal got covered over in this process. Okay, that makes sense because it's all blue. How is our serial number still here? Because it's blue? Like, I don't understand that one. Did they restamp it? I think that'll just have to remain a mystery for this particular video. But yeah, sweet guitar. Next up here, along the same lines, we've got a Gibson SG90 Double from 1989. And they call this a long scale guitar. And yeah, that is true. The SG90 Double is a 25.5-inch scale length Gibson. You can check out my full review and demo of one of these if you're interested in learning more. This one did not catch my attention at first when I was scrolling through my Reverb feed, but I decided to click on it because something looked a little bit off. Is that a really strange photo angle, like where the metallic top is just reflecting a completely different color right here? You scroll to the next page and oh, no. Somebody did a top refin only, left the sides alone of the metallic jade finish that these things could come with. And it's kind of cool. I like green and black, and you've got the ebony fretboard that's unbound on this example, because it really reminds me of like an Epiphone SG. I've got reviews of that. The newer ones, they put a veneer on top in order to hide all the multi-pieces of wood making up the body, and just to make it look prettier. I mean, you've got some cool wood grain, but they get that weird phenomenon where the edges are a different color because the woods are different colors, and it's an acquired taste. So now the big question for this vintage one is, why? Did they just like the colors or something? But then we flip over to the back. Well, what is that big access plate back here? Oh, that was a light bulb moment right there. This started life as one with a trem system on it. So what's happened here is they've filled in the trem route, and then to hide all that ugliness of the work of doing that, they just refinished this top portion. So it looks right. They even blacked out the hardware. It looks pretty cool. And it all made complete sense to me because most of these shipped with the very terrible Steinberger KBX trem system. You can check out this video if you want to know just how bad those things can be without being repaired. Basically, those things were made of cheap pot metal and the posts would lean, so eventually they would just become so unusable. But then when I was reading the seller's description and actually took a second to pay attention here, that's not what this had at all. This was one of the rarer Floyd Rose versions of this guitar. I mean, I get it. If you don't know what you're doing with the Floyd Rose, sometimes these things can be hard to set up, but do that to a Floyded version like the KBX, by all means. I have no qualms with anybody destroying those guitars and converting them to stop tails. But the Floyd, oh, that was an interesting choice. I mean, here you can see what it looked like originally. So you can see how they capped it off with a piece of mahogany right there. It looks like a pretty professional job. Like I'm not seeing any witness lines, at least at this photo angle. And heck, you could have a lot of fun with that. That is enough space for like a decent sized PCB unit. Like you could install your own distortion fuzz pedals within this thing. Lord knows you have enough room right in here to put some slider switches or something to activate each and every single one of them. Route that out a little bit so you can put your 9-volt battery in here. You could have a lot of fun with this thing. However, we've got one more thing to talk about on this one. Look at this headstock. I mean, do you see anything wrong with it? Here, I'll give you a couple of seconds. Oh, it's this. So Floyd Rose systems naturally have a locking nut, right? So this was kind of ingenious. I like the way they've done this. I'm not sure if that's a product or something they just custom made, but it filled in the additional routing in the neck to do the locking nut system and allowed them to install a regular nut. It's kind of cool. Really, the only thing they needed to do was get a regular truss rod cover and just install it right there with another screw, and most people probably wouldn't even see the difference. I mean, it's a bit jarring once you see it, but it's just kind of a cool guitar. It looks pretty good condition otherwise. And now the price. No, $1,600. I mean, if you are in Poland, that's not a bad deal. You wouldn't have to pay the $250 shipping on top of that. I don't think that's that crazy of a price for what this is. I mean, here's an all original one for $2,249. Here's another one for $1,900. Oh man, I didn't even realize it. They got rid of the pick guard. I can't say I blame them though. I would almost argue that this looks better without it. But yeah, kind of a cool guitar if you've always wanted one of these in the stop bar variety. 25.5-inch scale length is pretty cool. Our next one to talk about, once again, another 1954 Gibson Les Paul refinished in red. Somebody fill me in. What famous guy was using a red guitar? I know there was Lucy, but I feel like that was after the fact. It's just, there's so many vintage Les Pauls that got refinished in red. No wonder they started to produce the wine red finish. So kind of like the one I reviewed, you can check it out here. This one just has a little bit darker of a red finish. It's almost more of like a brownish tan. It's like a super faded out wine red. So maybe this was more vibrant back in the day. But we can see it's been snake bitten by a Bigsby on here. And then somebody converted it to the ABR1 from the regular wrap tail piece. And somebody played the crap out of this one. I mean, look at all the wear on the back. That's just all the finish. And that's the original finish back here, presumably. Just played off that thing. It looks like they had to redo the wiring, but here we can see the original happy gold finish in here. It's definitely been refretted, and we even get some blacklight shots on this one, and it's got that low logo. I was kind of sad that mine didn't have that because it's just one of those period correct spec type things. And yeah, that's definitely an old refinish on this one. Pretty cool guitar, and they're asking almost $30,000 for it, and it's located in the United Kingdom. And to wrap up this episode, it's not a refinish, doesn't really fit within our category, but it is just a strangely colored Les Paul that you don't normally see that is brand new, made to measure, and it's absolutely fantastic. Like, I've seen purple before on a Les Paul. They're normally custom orders of some sort, but I've never seen it like this. It is perfect. It's got that perfect dark shade and the light shade of purple, so it's not like hiding. Like my Purple Widow, sometimes those things got a little bit dark, but this one, you'll be able to see the purple color at all angles. Like I've never noticed this before. It's reflecting the light just a little bit differently. Like this side is darker and this one is just a slight shade brighter. It's kind of cool. I'm sure it's not that apparent in person. But this is one of those guitars that people will lust after. Left the factory without a pick guard because it's just such a beautiful quilt top. I don't know, guys. I guess now that I'm looking at it from far away, you can still see the color difference. I wonder if that is as apparent in person. We've got a whole two-face situation here. Not as bad as the burst gold top mixture that you can check out in this Would You Rock or Not video. But then moving on to the face of the headstock, nothing too crazy here, no colored logos or anything like that. And surprisingly, the back and sides are natural. And it should have an ebony fretboard being a modern day Les Paul custom. And here's a good look at that. The wood grain back here, it's nice, but it kind of looks like it's giving you the middle finger. It's either that or it's a flame. I just wish there was a little bit more going on the back of this one. That would make it a must-have. I mean, this is nice, but it's just okay. But man, what a cool guitar. If you're interested in adding this one to your collection, though, it's going to be about $8,300 to have it shipped to you. It's located in Canada, so if you're in Canada, you're not going to have to pay import duties and taxes. Well, at least not the traditional kind if you were to purchase it from USA. All right, troglodytes, I hope you enjoyed tonight's episode. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe, and we will catch you tomorrow on the next episode. Take care.